Hello everybody, I'm Pilar Archila with Pure Gold, and here I am at Med1st, and Roger Folsom was so wonderful to me that he allowed me to come here today and meet Miss Louise. She's trying her chair for the first time, and we have talked before we start the show, and she's an amazing lady with an amazing story.
Thank you.
Miss Louise, I'm so happy to be here with you.
Happy to be here too.
And I feel honored to meet you today.
Thank you so much. I feel the same.
Thank you. Where are you from?
I'm from Swainsboro, Georgia, but I was born and raised in a little town called Graniteville, South Carolina.
I see, not far from Augusta.
Augusta,
Yes.
Close to Augusta. And I had polio when I was a baby, when I was about 3 years old. And it paralyzed the growth in my legs. It caused them not to grow. And the rest of the body did. And it was a hard life because I was the oldest of 6 children.
Oh, wow.
And Mama we all came from a poor family. And my daddy was an alcoholic and didn't do too much taking care of us. And so they took me when I got sick. After they found out I was going to live, they thought one time I wasn't going to make it, and sent me to Columbia, South Carolina, to a doctor.
Yes.
That did some surgery, that operated on my legs, and tried to help me. But I felt like it didn't help anybody.
It did not work that
No,
way.
it didn't. And I wore casts on my legs, and I stayed in that hospital, and nobody ever come to see me.
Oh.
Mama was having 5 more kids after me. And I didn't, and I felt so alone.
Oh, of course.
And so they would bring me home from the hospital and let me stay a while, and I'd crawl on the floor. And there never was enough to eat. There was never no heat, no water, nothing. And that's the way I grew up.
Wow.
And so then when I was 13, they sent me to Warm Springs, and they told me there that I would never walk. So when I went back home, I got real bitter.
Yeah.
I got to the place that I hated the world and everybody in it and blamed everybody.
But this is not the lady that I'm looking at now.
And so that went on for about a year. I couldn't understand why I had to be like this.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure it out. Because there's so many people in the world had mamas and daddies that took care of them, and my daddy wouldn't take care of us, and we didn't have food, and it was hard.
Right.
And I couldn't understand why God did this to me. So one day, early in the morning, something woke me up. And I opened up this window, shut up a window, and looked out. And I never looked at such a pretty sky in my life. And I never felt so lost. I laid my head down on the windowsill, and I said, Lord, I don't know why this happened to me.
Yeah.
Maybe one day in the future you'll tell me. But right now, I got to have some help. Yeah. I can't handle this by myself. And it sounded like a little voice said to me, my grace is sufficient.
Oh.
And when I come up from there that morning, I looked around and everything was the same, but I wasn't.
Right. Your feelings changed.
I had a peace and a love and affections and an understanding that everything was going to be all right. I didn't know how, but it was. Wow. And over the years, it did get better. Things did begin to look up for me.
Oh, yeah.
I began to be able to take care of myself and do for myself.
Yes.
All because God helped me.
Yes, ma'am.
And I married. I had 2 boys of my own. And I lived with my husband 50 years until he passed away in 2006. And I felt like, well, I'm all alone again. But then God says, I'm still here.
That's right.
And He was.
He's always there with
Then
us.
And I always wanted to work and be independent. I wanted to do for me. I wanted to take care of me. I didn't want handouts. I wanted somebody to let me have a chance.
Yes.
I said, I just need a chance. That's all I need.
Exactly.
You know? And so I went to Swainsboro. John moved us to Swainsboro in 1966. Us, me and the two boys. And in 1973, there was a company there called Keller's. And the man that ran the company gave me a job.
That made ladders? That's what they did?
And they made, at that time, they made doors and windows. Later on, they made ladders.
I see.
And I worked there almost 30 years.
My goodness. What did you do there?
Well, when I started off working with the doors and windows, I made these bags that you put construction papers in.
Oh, yes.
And tire bar brackets and screws and things where you could install your ladders and stuff.
And directions and things
how
to install.
How to install your doors and things.
Yes.
I did that, and then I had some hand-operating machines there. And I learned how to push a button on them machines, and they would cut parts off.
Wow.
And so I would just, and I didn't have electric chair either.
Right.
So I had push jip, but I was a lot younger too, so maybe that made a difference. And so I worked there, and then in 2000, Mr. Warner had bought it, and he moved it to Alabama and put us all out of a job.
Wow.
So I didn't have a job anymore. So I went, in 2001, I went over to the Walmart store. And I said to Mr. Bronson, I said, I got a big mouth. And I got a good personality. And I love people.
Yes.
And that qualified me for that job at that door, and I wanted
I'm the perfect person for that job.
I wanted. So May the 3rd of 2001, Mr. Bronson gave me the job.
Hired you.
And I've been there ever since, and that was about 14, going on 14 years.
14 years. I'm sure that the people in Swainsboro, they all know you.
They do. And I will always be grateful to them. I had got to the place that I needed I needed a new chair.
Yes.
And I said, well, I've got to have one. So I proceeded to try to buy one. My insurance companies and everything wouldn't help me because of some kind of technology, you know. So the motor went out in the chair. So I tried to buy a motor.
Right.
And everywhere I went,
it was probably more expensive
they didn't sell the product that
you needed.
They needed, and so I couldn't buy one. And I never felt so lost. I said, what in the world am I going to do? So I had another old chair that somebody gave me, and it just didn't work for me. And I couldn't get out of it and go to the bathrooms. I couldn't do nothing. It just wasn't me.
Yeah.
And I looked up to heaven and I said, Lord, I says, I can't fight no more. The fight in me is gone. I says, if I've got to live like this, just take me home. I've lived a real good life. But God wasn't ready for me.
No, He knows better. We still want more of you here.
And all of a sudden, God put Lisa in my life. A lady that owns Merle Norman in Swainsboro. She asked me what was wrong, and I told her. And immediately she went to work with God's help and got me a chair. She eventually got me a chair, but she got a motor.
Right.
She said, we're going to fix this chair temporarily for you, then we're going to get you a chair.
Oh.
And she took it to the people of Emmanuel County, and she told them, we need to help her.
Yes.
And help me they did. She said you could see God's handiwork in it.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yes.
The people just came and helped me and give money and donated, and
Everybody chipped in.
Everybody chipped in.
Isn't that wonderful?
And then when Lisa got enough money, she talked to Med1st and she told them she's going to buy a chair.
Let me tell you, the chairs here are wonderful.
Yeah, did it?
And talking to you off camera, you mentioned that this chair goes up and down like if you're in the kitchen and you need to do things.
It'll do that.
In there you can do that.
Yeah. I've got used to it because my old chair had one, and I got where I couldn't use it without it. I had to have it.
You're used to that.
And so Lisa said, we're going to get you one. So she told Med1st, she said, I've got to have a chair with a lift.
Yes.
And they did. They got me one. And they're good people. They helped me.
Yes.
They helped me. They sure did. I won't never forget them. I won't never forget nobody.
Oh, yeah.
I thank God for all.
When people are good to you, it's hard to just not recognize that.
And the churches in Emmanuel County, they just donated so much.
I'm so glad.
There's not enough of thanks in the world to thank them. You thank them, but it's just seems like it's more. You want to do more. You want to say more than that. You just want to say thank you.
Yes. So I can tell you enjoy that job at Walmart.
Yep.
You enjoy meeting people.
Oh, yes, I do.
And you told me a beautiful story about a plant that it was given to you as a gift.
Yes. Yes. I hadn't been working at Walmart very long. Well, this little boy and little girl came in. It was at the old store. There were some plants at the door there for sale. And the little girl picked up one and went and paid for it and brought it back and gave it to me.
Oh.
She says, we bought this plant for you. And I said, for me? And she said, yes. I reached out and accepted the plant and thanked her and gave her a big hug. And she says, we bought this plant for you because we love you.
Oh.
I was crying. The mama come over there and said, when we come in here, they said, Mama, let's buy one of them plants and give it to that nice lady in the wheelchair. And that's what they did.
Kids are so genuine.
And I carried the plant home. I got me a pot, and because it was a small plant, needed a big pot.
Right.
I carried it home, and I got up the next morning, got my pot and soil, and proceed to put it in a replant it. And so I said, Lord, I don't have a green thumb. I have never been able to get nothing to live. But because this plant was given to me out of love,
yes,
and because you are loved, that's what it's all about. You love us all. Would you bless it and let it live? And bless it, he did. That plant is about 10, 12 years old, and it's still living.
Still living.
It's still growing. And I've never been so grateful.
You mentioned that you have 2 boys.
Yes, ma'am.
And how many grandchildren?
Well, each one of my boys had 5 children.
5?
Yes, so I have 10 grandchildren.
You have 10? Oh,
and now they all grown.
Oh.
And now they're having children, so I've got about 8 great-grandchildren.
Really?
Yeah.
You really don't look like you can have
Oh,
great-grandchildren.
Thank you. I have 8 of them.
You
8
are
or 9, I don't know. I've had a couple of extra ones here lately, so maybe about 9 of them. About 9.
Oh my goodness, that is wonderful. Oh.
But
And they all live around Swainsboro?
well, no, some of them lives in Statesboro,
Okay.
and some of them lives close to Macon.
Okay.
Some lives in Swain. They scattered.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you are truly someone that we can look at and think, you know, God really exists.
Oh, yes, he does.
And you are, you know, when sometimes we complain about things,
Mm-hmm.
just looking at your story, and it's really uplifting knowing that you like to be independent.
Oh, yes.
You don't mind working.
I love it.
And you're not complaining about your disability. You are doing things like everybody else,
Yes, ma'am.
working and taking care of yourself, and you took care of your boys and your husband, and
Yeah.
you have a wonderful, great family. That is just amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
When I walked in here, I promise you, I saw you, and I thought, man, what a beautiful lady.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And
From the moment you walk in the door, you can count on our staff at Dublin-Macon Cardiology to take care of all your cardiology needs. You can count on state-of-the-art technology, including preventative cardiology with high blood pressure management as well as cholesterol management, plus all forms of blockages, as well as any type of heart rhythm or irregular heartbeat problem. And you never need a referral. Call right now, 272-3525. We're Lawrence County's only full-time single specialty private practice, located on the campus of Fairview Park Hospital. For all your cardiac needs, call on Dublin-Macon Cardiology, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Whenever you need us, just call us. Dublin-Macon Cardiology, bringing state-of-the-art cardiac care closer to home.
here at Med1st, everybody is so nice
Yeah, they are.
and so helpful
Yes, they are.
that,
Yeah.
and I can see your new toy is just wonderful.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Because it is. It's, you know, I'm not handicapped in my chair.
Right.
I only become handicapped when I ain't got it.
There you go. There you go. Yes.
When I ain't got it.
Well,
But,
this is a wonderful story.
mhm.
It really touched my heart.
Thank you.
And I'm sure that all of you watching is going to touch your heart too, to see someone so strong. And I just cannot believe she's a great grandmother. I am a grandmother, so
So I learned.
I think, oh my goodness.
I learned to drive too. I learned to drive. I drive. Over the years, I got me a van and learned how to drive
Oh my
with
goodness.
hand controls.
Yes.
And so, truly, I can't think of anything that someone done on their feet that I haven't done
Yeah,
in this
that you
chair.
haven't done.
In this chair.
Yes.
And I said, the handicap is just in your mind. I mean, you can do things if
There
you.
is a lot of things. I was thinking about that the other day. When people talk about happiness, depends on you. If you want to be happy, you're going to be happy.
Yes,
If
yes,
you want to
ma'am.
be miserable, you can have everything, and you're going to be miserable.
Yeah,
So-
like you said, it's up to you.
You are really somebody to really. I feel honored being here with you.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Well, I really appreciate for all of you watching and getting to know Miss Louise. If you go to Swainsboro, by all means, stop by and say hi to her.
Yes, would you? I would appreciate that. I really would. I love it. I would
will.
love. I'd love it. I really would.
I go to Swainsboro sometimes to work too, so I will make sure stop by and say hi to you.
You do that.
I will.
You do that. Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching, and once again, I'm here at Med1st, and stop by in Swainsboro and see her. Stop by here and say hello to Roger Folsom. Thank you.